What's up, guys? Hackadu1940 here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning possibly winning the Stanley Cup. What? Exactly. I I don't know what it is, but I've been reading all these magazines, a whole bunch of different sources, and apparently a bunch of people were predicting the Tampa Bay Lightning to win, not only make it to the playoffs, not only make it deep into the playoffs, not just make it to the Stanley Cup, but win the Stanley Cup. A couple weeks ago, or actually about a week or two ago, I think it was, I picked up the Hockey News yearbook, and they say that the Tampa Bay Lightning, their Stanley Cup odds are 11-1. Those odds, I looked at all the teams, are better than the San Jose Sharks, the Boston Bruins, Minnesota Wild, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Rangers, Anaheim Ducks, St. Louis Blues, and Montreal Canadiens. All of those teams are ranked lower than the Tampa Bay Lightning, which I don't agree with at all. Let me just start by saying I like the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they're a great team, but do I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup? No. Eastern Conference Final, a possibility. Semifinal, I'd say they have a great chance. And for some reason, the quality, it's for this video, it's not very good. I don't know what it is. It's not my Elgato or my internet or anything. For some reason, it's NHL, or at least just NHL 14, because when I first turn on my PS3 or when I play Madden or any of those other games, the quality is fine. But for some reason, when I go on NHL, the quality just sucks, like, all of a sudden. And, it just looks horrible, and everything's all close up. As you can see, the names and stuff are so big. But yeah, back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know why this guy picked home jerseys. I'm the real home team here. But yeah, and also I got my Sports Illustrated magazine today, and they had this thing in there showing like what they predict the playoffs to be, or like the final projections for the 2014-15 regular season. And Valtteri Fibula, nice shot there. This is live, by the way. I'm trying to talk and look to my left at all my magazines and stuff as I'm doing. Wow, lost connection. Well, that guy was nice, wasn't he? 3 shots, 1 goal. Good job, buddy. Well, I don't know what we can talk about, or what we can do in the meantime while I'm talking. I guess we'll just replay the goal real quick. Callahan cuts in there, loses the puck. Olli Määttä gives it away. Alex Killorn, he gives it away like an idiot, and Filppula puts it right in the back of the net. But I guess this gives me a chance to read this. I got my Sports Illustrated magazine today, like I said. And in the Eastern Conference, I'm not going to say the West, but in the East, the projections for this season, like the format, the top 8 teams that are going to make the playoffs. The Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay Lightning, Pittsburgh Penguins, Montreal Canadiens, Detroit Red Wings, Washington Capitals, New York Islanders, and Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't get it. I mean, according to this, the Red Wings, Islanders, Capitals, and Blue Jackets, don't get me wrong, they're all good teams. The Islanders, they're semi-decent, just, all they really have is Tavares. I mean, they picked up a couple guys in the offseason. Detroit, I'd say they're on the decline. Datsuk's injured right now. They just don't have, what they used to have with, like, Lidstrom and all those guys. They don't have as much depth anymore. I mean, they have young Nyquist. I guess they still have Zetterberg, but they just don't seem to me as big of a threat as they were back then. Washington, they are a very on and off team, a streaky team, not a real consistent team, especially when it comes to the playoffs. They brought in their new coach, Barry Trotz. But I mean, they bring in a new coach every single year. I don't think it's anything to really be excited about. Columbus, I think, is the best team out of those 4. They have a great group of players, especially their forwards. I think they're definitely looking great, especially Bobrovsky in the net as well. But 2 teams that are not on there, the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. And I hate the Flyers. I do. I'm a Rangers fan. There's a huge rivalry with Philly there. And I think the Flyers should be in there above those teams. I mean, sure, they don't have the best defense. I mean, I watched the preseason game last night. The Rangers won 6-3. Not that it's that important, but I mean, come on. I mean, consistently, ever since I've been watching the Rangers since I was like 6 or 7 years old, nobody has given the Rangers any credit at all. Nobody. And I was even watching the game last night, and in the intermissions, it like cut back to like the NHL Network because that's what I was watching it on. Because I don't have MSG because I live in Philly, or not in Philly, but in Pennsylvania. And I guess we'll just try to get into another online versus game here. And all they could talk about in the intermission was what the Flyers did wrong and what they need to do better. They barely talked about the Rangers. Pretty much they were just saying that the Flyers didn't do this right and the Rangers capitalized on it. But the Flyers need to do this and they can win the game. It's like they didn't give the Rangers any credit for what they were doing right. And now, apparently, the Rangers, after making an incredible run to the Stanley Cup final, they're now predicting them to miss the playoffs. Well, I mean, no matter what the New York Rangers, honestly, it just feels like as a Rangers fan, and if you're a Rangers fan, you know what I'm saying. If we won 3 straight Stanley Cups and went on a dynasty run, still nobody would give us credit. I guarantee it. It's just the way it is. I don't know why people hate the Rangers, but they I don't know. They're just never in the mix, even though they're pretty consistently good every single season. But what kind of off topic there? I just had to rage on that a little bit, but yeah. So, and also those were the standings. But now for the playoffs, it says Stanley Cup playoffs. It says the Eastern Conference champions are going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, which could happen, I guess. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, the East is definitely up for grabs. I'm not saying the Rangers are the best team in the East at all. The East is completely up for grabs. The West is saying the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be the West champions. Obviously, these projections mean nothing, but I'm just saying it's crazy. And then the Stanley Cup champions, according to Sports Illustrated, are going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. This team right here, you see walking out of the tunnel, they're going to win the Stanley Cup this year after being swept in the first round of the playoffs last year. And I understand last year they faced so much adversity. I mean, Stamkos got injured very early into the season. St. Louis was dealt to the Rangers. Ben Bishop ended up getting injured late in the season, and they were still able to finish second in the East and make it to the playoffs. So don't get me wrong, they had a great year. They have a great team. I mean, you look at their forwards and their defense, and a lot of people are talking about Jonathan Drouin. And I don't know if he's going to do good, honestly. I mean, I don't know what to think about rookies because, a player could turn out like a Nathan McKinnon where he comes into the league and oh man, that was bad goal. But he could be a player that comes into the league and he lights it up with Steven Stamkos and he gets 30 goals and 65 points or whatever in his rookie season and win the Calder Trophy and be a dominant rookie. He could do that. Or he could be, I'm trying to think of an example now, like a Claude Giroux or somebody like that, who doesn't really break out until, a few years into his career. What if he doesn't have any chemistry with Stamkos? It could happen. Especially because neither of those guys are playmakers. They're both snipers. So, because Stamkos always had Marty St. Louis alongside of him, who's a complete playmaker. Marty St. Louis rarely shoots the puck. He always looks for the pass first, and Stamkos was always there to snipe it home. But now they're both snipers, so we'll see how that works. They have great centerman depth as well, with Valtteri Filppula in there behind Stamkos, Tyler Johnson, Brian Boyle, who they added in the offseason. Brian Boyle is a great addition. He's a great depth player. And I think it's actually kind of funny because Brian Boyle, the reason he left the Rangers wasn't because of money. It was because he wanted a bigger role. And it's looking like he's still going to be on the fourth line. It still doesn't look like he's going to get a third-line role. But, I mean, the Lightning, definitely not a bad team for him to go to. It was tough to see him go, but wish him the best in Tampa. And Ryan Callahan as well. I mean, Callahan... I'm not sure what you Tampa Bay Lightning fans expect out of Ryan Callahan, but obviously I'm a New York Rangers fan. Callahan was one of my favorites. I have his jersey. Oh, there he is right there. But Callahan, he's consistent. He's a great player. He's got a ton of heart. He's a leader. But he gets injured. And you got to watch out for that because the way that he plays is a gritty style of game. He's not a goal scorer. He's not a playmaker. The most points he'll get you in a season is about 45 to 50 points. So don't expect him to get 30 and 30 or anything like that. And he's a grinder. He blocks shots. He throws his body around a lot, and he could get injured. He's been injured quite a bit in his career already, so watch out for that. Who else? I gotta look down here for a second. Andre Palat is a nice playmaker, so if he goes on that line with Stamkos and Drouin, that'd be pretty cool to see. Brett Connolly is another young gun they have coming up. Nikita Kucherov, another rookie. They added some veteran depth with Brendan Morrow in the offseason, which was a nice addition. But to me, this is where they really shine, is their defense. Matt Carl, Victor Hedman, Jason Garrison, Anton Strawman, Riku Gudas, Eric Brewer, and then you have guys like Andre Suster, Mark Barberio as depth defensemen. So you've definitely got a great defensive core there, but what really pisses me off is, I'll read this to you guys once I get a chance. It's so hard to play and do this at the same time because I have to keep looking to my left. I'll just pull it out. Screw the gameplay. But what it says here, hold on, I gotta find the page now. Here it is. It says, the future is now. Left wing Jonathan Drouin joins center Steven Stamkos to light the lamp all year in Tampa Bay. And in a conference with no clear favorite, defenseman Anton Strawman looks like the missing piece. Are you kidding me? Now, like I said, I'm a Rangers fan. I know these guys well. Anton Strawman is not an all-star. He's not going to carry your defense. He's not going to get you 45 points a season, 15 goals. Again, I don't know what you Tampa fans expect out of these New York Ranger guys. But I mean, Ryan Callahan's not a 30-goal scorer. He's not, a guy who's going to shine on the power play. And Anton Strawman is not an all-star. He's not going to get you 45-plus points a season. And, I mean, and I saw, and actually my dad pointed this out to me as well, blog posts of people saying that, like, Anton Strawman carried Mark Stahl in that defensive pairing. Give me a break, alright? Anton Strawman did not carry Mark Stahl. Anton Strawman is a good defenseman. I love Anton Strawman. He was a great defenseman on the Rangers. He was a great offensive defenseman. There's Ryan Malone, the newest Ranger. Bacon Slapper? Oh, nope. He's a great defenseman, but he's not PK Subban or like, oh, nice, Deke Stamkos, the newest captain of the Lightning. He's not going to get, 40-plus points. Maybe a solid 30. But he's not going to be a big-time defenseman. He's really not. He's not going to grow into an all-star. He's hit his cap. I mean, last year he made that great play in the playoffs. He made a couple good plays. But I don't know. And let me ask you guys this question. And you have to answer honestly, even if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. If you saw Mark Stahl and Anton Strawman both in the free agent market, which defenseman do you think would be more highly anticipated? I would say Mark Stahl, but that's just me. But that just really pissed me off when I saw that defenseman Anton Strawman looks like the missing piece. Anton Strawman is not the missing piece to the puzzle of a team looking to win the Stanley Cup. He's really not. He's a good defenseman, but he's not a franchise, offensive defenseman. I don't know. I don't know, it's crazy. But and now to the goaltenders. You guys lost Anders Lindback in the offseason, your backup, which I'm not sure if you guys are too upset with that. I mean, you guys acquired him a couple years ago. Never really turned out to be the great goaltender he was expected to be. He spent a little bit of time in Nashville, didn't really turn out there, went to Tampa. That was even worse. I mean, when Bishop was injured, Anders Lindback had to step in the playoffs last year, and he did horrible. I remember watching those highlights. He did absolutely horrible. Saw a couple games as well. But yeah, he got ran out of town. But you guys picked up Evgeny Nabokov as a backup. And I would still be kind of concerned, because Nabokov, what is he, like 40 or 41 or something? 39? Somewhere around that range. He was a great goalie in his prime, but, he's not that goalie anymore. And just, to me, a backup goaltender should be a goalie that can bail you out in clutch situations. And think about what happened last year. Ben Bishop went out with an injury right around playoff time, right at the end of the year, and he was out for the playoffs. And in that clutch situation, their backup, Anders Lindback, stepped in, and he did not do well. So imagine going into this season, and imagine the same thing happens. Ben Bishop goes out around March and isn't due to come back for the remainder of the year, and Evgeny Nabokov has to step into the net. Can Nabokov be a goalie to lead you guys deep into the playoffs? I don't think so. I think he's a good goaltender. He's a very athletic goaltender, but he's getting older, and I don't know if he can win you guys a bunch of games in a clutch situation. You know, I think you guys could use another young goaltender in there. I'm not sure what kind of goalies you guys have in your system. But yeah, I don't think Nabokov... Oh, that wasn't a penalty. I don't know if Nabokov can be that guy to bail you guys out if Bishop goes down with an injury. Yeah, you guys also lost Teddy Purcell, Michael Kostka, BJ Crombeen, and Keith Awley. Now, Awley is a great defenseman, a great big defensive defenseman, you know, third-line defender. So you lose some size there, but again, the Lightning are stacked on defense. They added Garrison and Strawman, so they can afford to lose another defenseman. They have Riku Gudas as well to cover that big, tough defenseman back there. So they're fine there. Teddy Purcell's a pretty big loss. I'm surprised the Lightning did that. I know they did it for cap reasons, but for those of you guys who don't know, they traded Teddy Purcell to the Edmonton Oilers for Sam Gagner, and then they traded Sam Gagner and BJ Crombeen to the Arizona Coyotes for a 7th-round pick. So they basically just gave away... Pretty much they just gave away Teddy Purcell. Which kind of surprised me. Technically they didn't. They technically gave away Sam Gagner, who wouldn't have really fit on the team anyway. But, yes, they lose Teddy Purcell. It's not too big of a loss. I mean, your guys' top 6 is pretty much filled. It's not too big of a loss. Nate Thompson, a nice depth player, but again, you guys have plenty of depth there. Michael Kostka, yet another defenseman. And other than that, yeah, really nothing too big. BJ Crombeen, another depth guy, but again, there's plenty of that. But yeah, so just going to end it off kind of the way it started. The Tampa Bay Lightning. If I had to guess, I think that they're. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to make the playoffs. They could finish top in their division. They could. But, I mean, when you rank them above teams like the Rangers and the Bruins and those types of teams that have proven in the last few years that they can get that far, that just surprises me. You know, to me, you can't take a team who got swept, no matter how good they look on paper. You can't take a team who got swept in the first round of the playoffs last year and rank them above a team who made it to the Stanley Cup final last season. You just can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, come on, Stammer. Oh, he almost did it again. Backhand this time. This guy not playing. Come on, buddy. Come back. Oh, Malone. Oh, find Stammer. Stammer's on his backhand. Oh, no, I couldn't flip around. I didn't have any speed or anything, or momentum. But again, the Eastern Conference is completely up for grabs. I'd say the Boston Bruins, obviously like they are every year, are the favorites to obviously win the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they won the President's Trophy last season, went out in the second round of the Canadiens. But, I mean, can the Lightning beat a team like the Canadiens in the playoffs? Obviously, the Canadiens proved that they can dominate the Lightning in the playoffs. Again, they didn't have Ben Bishop or any of those guys. So it's tough to say. But, I mean, if the Lightning were to go into the playoffs, could they beat a team like the Rangers? Could they beat the Canadiens or the Bruins or even the Flyers? Could they beat any of those teams? I don't know. I think it's depending on who they match up against. I think it's a possibility they could make it to the semifinals or maybe even the Eastern Final. But I don't think they're going to make it to the Cup. I can't rank them above Boston and New York and all those types of teams. I just can't do it. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video. Oh my god, look at that. Victor Hedman. What a powerful shot. It was so powerful, it just blew his pad back. Jonathan Bernier, keep your pad steady. Oh man, Joffrey Lupul is kicking himself right now. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this very long commentary, in my opinion, but just let me state this one last time. For you Lightning fans, don't think I don't like the Lightning. Don't think that you guys have a great team. But you guys do have a good team. But I just don't think you guys are going to make it to the final. And I know that these projections are just projections. They don't mean anything. They obviously don't have a factor in the way that things actually turn out. It just kind of took me by surprise when I saw all these magazines and all these websites and stuff predicting the Lightning to make it that far. I just had to give my take on it. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. I will see you guys in the next video.